Today I'm going to talk about the flash memory, and this flash memory is not the main memory, and it is a secondary memory. So it should it should be very fast mm, and it should not be the velocity. So there are two types of the secondary memory. There is a flash memory and a hard disk. And this NAND structure of a flash memory, it is very, the writing and reading is very fast, but the hard disk is little bit slow. So like in AI or big data, AI like using big data, we should we need the very fast secondary memory. So usually we use the NAND flash memory, then the hard disk. So in this flash memory, it has a it in the first step was we used the floating gate, and the structure was a planar structures, but for the development we used the CTF NAND. So it means charge trap flash, and the planar structure became 3D or like 4D. And this 4D means like the very on cell, so it is more integrated than the 3D. And mm, that is that was the flash memory's development. And now I'm going to talk about the cell operation. And in the floating gate flash memory, there are for the NFET there is a P-type substrate, and then there is floating gate between the gate and the body. And this floating gate is in the oxide, so we call the tunnel oxide that is between the floating gate and the body. And we call the we call floating gate, we call blocking oxide that is between the gate and the floating gate. So that that gate is mean control gates. And for the writing, the when we give a bias on the gate, the channel's energy band going up, so up, and the carrier have a become a tunneling to the floating gate, and this carrier are tucked in the between the two sides, and it means the data is safe. And when we want to erase this data, we give a reverse bias in the body and a gate. So the trapped charge tunnel be tunneling to the channel. So the data is become erased. And for the writing, um, when we give the positive bias in gate, when the floating gate is all charged in the channel, there is a in the channel the field effect field effect becoming very smaller. So and like in the NAND flash, we use the FN tunneling, and for the NOR flash, we use the hot carrier injection. And for the erase, we give the negative bias in the gates, so the floating gate, the charge of the in charge that is trapped in the floating gate become FN tunneling and going to channel. So we use the FN tunneling for the NAND flash and NOR flash erasing. And for the last is the reading, and we read the data for by using the read bias. And when we think that when we give the read bias and the because of this read bias, when there are small currents, it means it is it is already programmed. And when the current is loss of current is flowing, it means it is not programmed. And but like this floating gate, there are some disadvantage of like mm, floating gate and the channel is a like capacitor. So because of the scaling down, uh, we should the floating gate should be smaller, but we our purpose was we should charge the floating gate a lot. But when the floating gate size is smaller, when the floating gate is becoming smaller, that we can the amount of the charge that you can charge is becoming smaller. And there's second disadvantage, and this is like for the floating gate, there should be the ferrule layer floating gate and a tunneling layer. And this structure is so big or thick, so for the thick structure, we should need the big bias for the control gate. So it means the it means the energy for energy performance becoming bad. So we use the silicon nitride oxide and silicon nitride and oxide structure for the barrier layer. So we can make thin than the floating gate. And this mean for using silicon nitride is a CTA flash, so it is charge trap flash. And my review is done. Thank you.